Good morning, this is Christine Sponsler. We'll be discussing Organizational Consulting and Change, which is PSYC 847 from Liberty University. And we'll be doing modules 5 through 8. Consulting can address various facets of organizational development and change. Consulting assists leaders with planning, researching, and implementing various things that will benefit the organization. Even the Bible states that we are to have many advisors and many counsels, otherwise plans can fail. And that's Proverbs 15:22. Therefore, it is important for consultants to help guide leaders with making and implementing plans for the organizations. According to our textbook of Lohman, it is the responsibility of the consultant to conduct research, gather data, and integrate the information about an organization before they actually give any advice or any information. Corporate social responsibility includes meaningful professional identity and assists corporations with mergers. Many organizations need to merge because of the simple fact that there is something that they can offer that helps another organization. And when this happens, it is the responsibility of the consultant to help each organization understand the other organization. Many organizations determine that there is a necessity for almost any type of organization to span out into like healthcare or into healthcare support or any of those other things that might happen. But therefore, there is creating stronger client-consultant relationships support a healthier organization. There are several places which the client and consultant relationship and responsibilities are implemented. One such place is a program called the Head Start program. In the Head Start program, they have gone from one entity into several different entities to where they have merged and become a bigger corporation. And the Head Start program, what they do is they help younger students understand school a little bit easier, and it helps them socially as well. So social change in consulting includes support of families, corporations, and organizations so that the community and the organizations can complement each other better. A for-profit organization might not seem to be something that a nonprofit organization would want to merge with, but sometimes that is something that needs to happen. It has been said that we are created for relationships. This is what the Bible says, and that's our manual, right? But with God, we are to have a relationship with Him. We're to have a relationship with our neighbors and even with our enemies. Genesis 2:18 also says that we're created in His image. For His relationship. When a Christian consults for others, the focus must include ways to apply biblical terms. The message is also something that needs to be happening because the simple fact that when God is in the works, usually things are not going to fail as much or as easily. His children, that's us, okay, are able to support each other and bear each other's burdens this way, which is Galatians 6:2. And when we're able to bear each other's burdens, we're able to see that that person is being supported, and then the community gets stronger, and so does an organization. Not-for-profits, or also known as nonprofits, benefit from organizational consulting because the scrutiny of a consultant will help the development, the change, and the shifts that need to happen in the nonprofit realm. Like I was saying, sometimes they need to shift where they actually include for-profit entities. With that happening, the consultant needs to understand both the for-profit entity and the nonprofit entity so that the merger is less likely to be counterproductive and more likely to be a productive, healthy, and strong organization. Creating organizational consulting relationships for nonprofits must include the understanding of risks, the Board of Education, the Board of Directors. Hey, see, we're doing education, right? The Board of Directors, and to incorporate details that might not be found in the public corporations. However, when we're doing this, we need to understand that we are the ones that are bringing this information from the research that we have done to make the risks less, to appease the Board of Directors, and to help the community become stronger and healthier. Community-based organizations might appear to be self-run, but they're not. There are many facets pertaining to this organization where they might actually, have to get donors from here, donors from there, and just other people that they need to appease. The issue is when the Board of Directors is not happy or satisfied, the community doesn't get as many benefits out of that. Therefore, the consultant must understand how differently a nonprofit might run from the public organizations and their tasks. Community organizations usually have donors rather than shareholders. However, there's sometimes both. Like I was saying, when there's a merger between a for-profit and a nonprofit, as consultants, we must understand and share this information with the donors, with the shareholders, or with both. Therefore, the consultant may desire to speak with some of the donors to better understand how to approach the consulting aspect of this organization. Perhaps an organization is pondering a global or international shift. If this is the case, the consultant must understand a global, international realm, right? Then the consultant must make sure that they understand this type of shift as well, because sometimes the shift might be from local. Can you imagine from local all the way to global, just like that? There might be some times when you have to go local, state, national and international. So we must know those steps so that we can help the leaders of this organization do this the correct way. When we remember Jesus' visit to this earth, we are reminded that he came to serve and not to be served. Therefore, as a consultant, we must also help leaders understand that their employees are not just servants of theirs, okay? They need to understand that since these people work for them, they are also to be served by them. This is a way that Jesus would do it. Jesus came to serve and not to be served. That's Mark 10:45. Therefore, serving people through nonprofit organizations has become an important facet to bridge the gap between believers and the not yet believers, not the non-believers, because they're just not yet believers. Consulting can be a way for the believer to introduce Jesus to their clients without being too preachy. Have you ever been preached to and you weren't even ready for it? Sometimes that's the way it comes off when consultants bring this about. However, if they're able to do it without a preachy type of doing it, then they're actually introducing Jesus to their clients. Utilizing global consulting does not always mean that it reaches an international population. Let me explain that. What that means is when an organization is a global organization, sometimes it goes international, but sometimes it's really the nation that they're in or the state that they're in that they're globalizing things. And what that means is global is how they get to other people. So in other words, they're reaching out to other people. They're reaching to people that sometimes are local, sometimes are national, sometimes are state, sometimes are international, but always a way to do it in the way that is not confusing to the organizational leaderships. Sorry. Researching various aspects of global and international consulting designs creates a pathway to reaching more organizations and helping them to make the changes necessary to serve more people. Addressing technology. Okay, is everybody running for the hills? Hopefully not. Addressing technology which supports global and international reach is necessary to better support the changes and or developments of global international organizations. The change in that is that now there are people that just do that for a living, okay? So you could hire somebody, or you can tell, in other words, you could tell the leadership of the organization that they can hire somebody, and that's the way that you would be consulting them in that change. What it is that means that they have a technical person. That'd be awesome, right? I have a technical person sitting here next to me, and I don't have to figure out the technology myself. That way, I can lead with what I'm really good at. That's how you address it to them. And the way that you do this is also you help them to understand that this is another part of the developing of their organization and making it more reachable and reaching. There are certain advantages to technology which allow for reaching global and international organizations with ease. Therefore, we are to actually help the leadership of an organization understand that better. As consultants, we don't just sit there and go, well, you got to figure it out yourself, right? We try to help them understand that what they're doing is reaching more people because the technology is being done by their technician. That way, we are giving them the advice of having a technician rather than trying to do it themselves. Because trust me, you don't want me to be the technical person, right? You don't want the person that leads with compassion and all that sort of stuff unless they understand technology to be the technical person. What we want is we want the right person in that realm. Understanding the importance of cross-cultural consulting is another huge plus for consultants. Understanding the importance of cross-cultural collaborations is something which will strengthen organizational consulting and change. There are changes that need to be made for various different cultures. Sometimes when we're reaching out to somebody and we don't understand their culture, it's not going to be heard. Therefore, when we're consulting, we need to understand that culture to understand how to reach out to them. Certain cultures may not have embraced technology yet. Hopefully that's not true because we're getting pretty technical now, right? But reaching these organizations is still possible when the correct technology is used by both cultures and the organization. What that means is we're reaching out to people using the technology that they understand, but trying to help them to understand beyond what they already understand as well. That's under the consultant also. Creating stronger global and international relationships will strengthen global international consulting profoundly. That way, there's like a better relationship between the people that are using the technology, the people that are being reached by the technology, and those that are reaching out to them are not getting frustrated and not really trying to reach out to them anymore, right? Therefore, consultants have been researching ways to implement consulting globally as recently as this year. Okay. However, there has been stuff that has been, even Lohman, which was written, 2002, actually says that technology is something that we can actually use, okay, that will change over the years, and we need to be ready to make those changes as well. So as consultants, we must be ready to make those changes, but we need to actually help leaders become ready to make those changes as well. Reaching people with hope-filled plans concerning the organizations they are leading in the is necessary. It might be the only way that someone even hears that God exists. Remember, there's places where people haven't even heard of God. Well, with technology, there's ways that we can actually get out there, and we can do it without cultural bias. The Bible reminds people that they are to support each other, no matter if they are a neighbor or a foreigner. That's Matthew 25:35. And believers are to do So believers are to do this by doing what is good. Okay? That's Titus 2:7-8. And what that means is we are not supposed to sit there and go, well, that's just tough doo-doo. You have to do it yourself. We have to say things like, this is what happens when you help a person doing it this way. And you're showing leadership how to be culturally less biased, even though that's not the same culture that they actually believe in. And we're presenting integrity through our actions when we're actually helping these leaders understand a different culture. And when we're doing this, that's Proverbs 11:3. And consultants who present with integrity will more than likely be able to assist an organization become better and more supportive of other cultures. It's very difficult to understand somebody else's culture unless you try and figure out in other words, do research. Understand what it is that they read. Understand what they think God is, and then you can bring God to them in their own words. I know that there's times when studying organizational change is very difficult. One of the things is cultures. And I studied Islam. People were looking at me like I was crazy. Here's this blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl or whatever from the US studying Islam and studying Arabic. Why would that be? Because now I know how to speak to Muslims without really having a bias. That's something I teach to leaders as a consultant. Why would I do that? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because then they could reach people better, right? Organizational development and change will require hours of research conducted by both the leadership of the organization and the consultant. Now remember, because you're a consultant does not mean that research is gone. We need to research. We need to research information about the organization, about the people they're trying to reach, and about the state that they're in as well. Sometimes there's different things, like in California, there's different laws, different rules, different organizational development changes and stuff like that happens than say Maine, right? It's not going to be the same thing. How would it be the same thing? People are different in different states. Can you imagine it being different, internationally and globally, right? So presenting leadership with the resilience of various resources is another way to promote healthy and stronger organizational change. Leadership who desires to improve an organization must utilize organizational change and possibly development if it needs to have a new program admitted into it. Development just means you're going to start over, right? You're going to start from nothing, and you're going to develop something that is going to help people. That's what it means by organizational development. Organizational change is taking that something that you already have created, that you've already developed, right? And maybe changing it into something that's going to work better. That's the difference between those two. Presenting plans for organizational goals will assist in the development of stronger organizational change and development. Creating attainable and high achievement goals are necessary to implement certain newer programs because of the simple fact that if their goals are too small, then maybe they're not going to reach as many people as they want to. Or if it's too big, maybe they can't attain it. Becoming more resilient towards organizational development and change might cause leadership to seek more than one consultant. Why? Because this consultant is going to understand this bias, this consultant is going to understand this one, and when you put those two together, they're going to create a stronger way of consulting this particular organization. Remember, an organization isn't just 2 or 3 people, even though when 2 or 3 are gathered, there he is, right? But it's not just 2 or 3 people. It's usually pretty darn big. It's at least 50 plus. Therefore, consultants who help leadership set and achieve goals must learn to work with other consultants. When people read the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind you might not always think of organizational consulting. However, the Bible does remind believers to be merciful. That's Matthew 5:7 and Luke 6:36. But by being merciful, people will also understand you better. In other words, if you're not being merciful and a person sits here and is listening to you, they're going to say, I don't understand what you're doing. Why are you asking me to do this, right? They're going to have questions. However, if you're being merciful and understanding them and hearing them, it's a lot better. Remember, communication is 80% hearing or listening and 20% speaking. So being merciful will help those who are struggling with change. Have you ever struggled with change? I have. When organizations go through changes, leaders and employees can struggle to make the necessary changes. Therefore, a consultant can help them through this. A consultant helps guide them, and that's exactly what we're supposed to be doing, which is a good thing. Thank you so much for this, and this is your references for everything that was presented to you today. I thank you so much for this because of the simple fact that I just really love consulting so much. And when we are consulting with others and we're helping them to build better organizations, everybody benefits. Thank you. God bless.